Hey guys, how you doing? I have an over-the-board game report for you. 29 days into my regime, caffeine-free, had half a cup of tea in the middle of today. Half a cup of tea. But no coffee, no chocolate, no sugar. But I've been feeling very energetic today. It's been a good day. Had a really good sleep last night. My sleep is definitely improving, and it's a real. Next to diet, right up there with diet. Sleep is so important. Anyway, so here we're playing away at Saska C. Saska is the Sheffield Area Schools Chess Association. My last game against Saska was against the D team. I got a win there at the start of December. And here my opponent's a bit old. He's a teenage lad, Kirin, capable player, rated 1525 ECF, a little bit lower than me, and he has the white pieces. So I went into this thinking, I'm going to play my style, but I'm going to calculate. And I'm pretty confident knowing, my repertoire against most ways to start. However, I don't really have anything against the Zukertort Reti opening. So already I'm off my perch. But we'll go through the game because it's an interesting one. It's absolutely not my style. But my opponent did a great job of... he didn't know what my style is. He didn't know anything about me. But my God, he got me out of my comfort zone from move one, really. Okay, so here I decided to play knight c6 with the idea that, well, maybe he'll play e4 on move 2 and we'll get into a position that I know, right? Wishful thinking, he plays d4. Okay, hello, Sasha. Right, so, what do you do here? So the most common moves are d5 and knight f6. I played d5, thinking, okay, we're going to play chess, right? That's what we're going to do. And we have c4 now. Now, I've got the players database open here, and it's set to 1600 to 2200 rapid and classical. And already in this situation, white is winning 58% of games. Interesting. So, most common moves are this and e6. Right, I didn't play either of those. I brought out my other knight. I figure if he takes, I can take back. So, clearly he's taken a claim on the centre. He takes the pawn. I recapture with my knight. And now we have e4, which is kind of what I was worried about. I bring my knight back to f6. And here it's plus 2.4 for white already. And white is winning nearly 70% of games from this position. So, I need something against the Reti, which will lead into my types of positions, not white. So here he's got the full centre, and he brings out his other knight. Okay, here I play e6, and the reason is there's a few things. I might want to bring out my bishop. I might want to do short castle. Also, if he pushes here, maybe we can trade off. I've got pawn, knight, and queen looking at that square. But also, I might want to swing my knight around here, like you do in the tango. He doesn't do that. He brings out his bishop to pin, and I decide to break the pin with bishop d7. So already, I'm feeling very, very cramped in this position. I don't like it. He's got control over all of these squares. Great control. Ideal opening, really, for white. Ideal position. Still +2. He castles, and now I'm thinking, well, look, we're in hyper-modern territory. Okay, I've surrendered the centre at the start of the game. The idea is to contest the centre with your pieces, or gain control over the centre with your pieces early on, and then with nicely timed pawn breaks, maybe like later on in the game. This apparently is not a very good move. It's very rarely played. G6 is played 1% of the time. White's winning 77%. Okay, more common moves: A6, bishop B4, A little bit late, seeing as the king's not there anymore. You've got bishop e7 preparing to castle. You've got h6 as well, stopping the knight and the bishop from coming in. All of these moves are fine. g6 is not great. It's now plus 3.6 in white's favour. He now pushes h3, which is a bit quiet and really too slow, because he should have applied more pressure. I fianchetto the bishop, and he brings out his other bishop, and now I play queen e7, and I kind of regretted this move. One of the problems is it's taking this square away from my knight, which is where it might want to escape to. So I was worried about d5 here. Okay, we don't get that. He plays rook to c1. It's plus 2 for white. Now I push a6 to kick the bishop. I thought about it earlier and decided against. Bishop retreats, and I follow up with b5. Again, not the best move here. But now we're in a completely novel position at the strong intermediate level. Okay, so I kick the bishop. It's nearly like plus 3 now. He retreats. And now I push e5. I'm thinking I've got to make something happen. Now, I'm always thinking, is he going to play like queen d2 and try and form a barrage? Is he waiting for me to short castle? In which case he's going to try and eliminate my dark square bishop. Very standard idea. So I'm deliberately not castling here. I'm just trying to play a very kind of tight, close game. And now we get d5. But here, it appears d5 is a blunder. And I was kind of happy to see it. He really should have just made... Oh dear. Oh dear. Sorry, their dog was... had something wrong with his throat. Okay, so, yeah. d5, not great. I mean, you know, he's pushing forwards, I get it. Here I decide to play my knight back to d8. So there's a lot of kind of undeveloping going on here. But I thought my idea was, rather than knight b8, I thought maybe I could swing around here, stop this pawn, and just kind of hunker down and try and weather the storm. We have a3 now, and I just quickly bring my knight around. Okay. And now b4 from white, and white's advantage is now almost gone, actually, funnily enough. But don't worry, he gets it back. Okay, now I play my knight to d6. So we're kind of locked up, you know, the centre's quite closed. I'm figuring that's going to help me, particularly since my king's still in the middle of the board. We have bishop c5 now, hitting my knight. And here I have this long-term annoyance of this pin. So I'm thinking, how can I free up my knight? I mean, my knight's got a really nice outpost on c4, if I can ever get to it. But the problem is I can't move my knight. My queen is also the only defender of this pawn here, and it's under attack by the f3 knight. So I need to think of a plan to free up my knight, or make sure my knight is defended so that my queen can then step away, so that my knight can then move, and it's all, you know, I'm really kind of having to shuffle a lot here. So we have a4 now from white. He's attacking now on the queen side. He's decided against attacking in the centre. Attacking on that side now. I decide to take here, and instead of recapturing immediately with the bishop, he centralises his rook. Not quite sure why, because he's just put it on a closed file, right? At least here on f1, you know, he might have options of an f-pawn break. So I was slightly confused about that one. And now I bring my other knight back. There's a couple of reasons for this. One is it's now paired up with this guy. So it's, you know, the knight is defended. In fact, the knight's always defended by the pawns. I'm not quite sure what I was worrying about there. But now my queen can move away. Also, I'm going to need to move my rook, though, because if the knight moves, also the rook's behind it, and the rook's got no squares right now. Okay, so he comes here wanting to trade bishops. I ignore it, and I push f6. I didn't want to push f5, because partly I'm just defending this pawn as well. And my idea is to put my rook here, and then get my queen the hell out of dodge, somehow. Okay, we have rook a1. I bring my queen now back to d8. He brings his queen up. And here I'm just a little bit slow, because what he's doing is he's setting up a barrage against my isolated pawn on a6. I trade the bishops off. He puts his rook there, and then I'm going, oh, right, we're going to get rook e to a1, and then he's going to have 3 pieces, all gunning down on this pawn. I can defend with my queen, so I play queen c8, but it's too little too late. You have rook a c1, rook e a1, and the pawn is a goner. So I'm starting to rue my decisions a little bit, but you know, I'm playing with no space whatsoever here. So rook f7 anyway, just giving this pawn a defender. Maybe it could be useful somehow on the 7th rank, I don't know. He trades, we trade some rooks, and then queen b7, and now again it's plus 2.8 for white, and I'm bound still. I've got almost just no mobility, no movement at all. Rook comes down to attack my queen, bring her back. He tries to trade queens, I'm having none of it. Okay, it's plus 6 here. Plus 6 now for white. White is just hands down winning. Okay, he now brings his knight around. Not the best move. It goes from plus 6 to plus 3.6. And here I'm thinking back to, I'm imagining Levy doing a Tata Steel recap video. And what would Levy be saying about this game? He's saying black's got no space whatsoever. He needs to create counterplay. Right, as he said in many of his videos, you know, counterplay on different areas of the board. I played bishop h6. This bishop's doing absolutely bugger all there. I thought it would be a nicely kind of fianchetto thing. We'd have some activity down the long diagonal. Not a hope. So I attack the knight. He comes in quite quickly to block with his bishop. And I'm thinking here, okay, well, look, my bishop's crap. Right? It's worth 1 point, if anything. Trade the bastard off. Okay, so we trade him off. Now, at least I've got a glimmer. He's got double pawns here. They're blocked off. He's a pawn up, but and yeah, this guy's almost clear. But I've still got this pawn. I've still got a rook on 7th, and these double pawns now are just blocked off. And so you know, maybe there's a bit of a hope. So I'm just in full Tata Steel mode now. Okay, I play queen over to here, looking at the undefended pawn on b4. Queen retreats to defend. Now I just dick about with my king. And he's down to about 30 minutes here. I'm still on an hour. I've only used 15 minutes of my own time. Okay, make of that what you will. Queen comes across to c5. So he's looking at this pawn twice, but the pawn is very well defended. I've got 3 defenders on it. Also, the knight's being paired up. So what he really needs to be doing, I think, he needs to get these horses up into my face. Right? If he could sneak a horse into like c6 or something, I'd be done for, absolutely done for. Okay, so he's now starting to think, how do I win this? He knows he's in a good position, right? It's not the strongest position he's been in, because it's only plus 1.4 now because of this pawn weakness that he's allowed me to create and get rid of my absolute worst piece. Right? Everything else is doing the job. That bishop was just, you know, rubbish. Okay, so I stick my king back on g7. It's actually the best move. And now he plays rook a5. Okay, so I didn't think for too long at this point. I spy with my little eye something beginning with F. Okay, knight b7, forking the queen and the rook. And I'm thinking, hello, I'm going to win an exchange. Now, it also does mean he's going to get an outside pass pawn that my pawn then can't stop, but at least I'll restore material equality. However, he finds this move. Okay, now, so what does that do? Well, I can't take his queen. I take his queen, he takes my queen. I haven't won material. Then I need to move my knight. You know, we play on, but it wasn't the best move. The best move, actually, here is queen a7. Just forcing the queens away. We're trying to trade them off, okay? He didn't do that. He pinned my knight, and this was a little bit rushed, because very quickly I saw I had knight d6. Knight d6 is deflecting the rook away, okay? Now the rook has no safe squares. It can't go there. It can't stay where it is. Can't go here because of this knight. Right? So that was just rushed. It was a couple of weak moves. Okay. The only move is this. He's got to move his queen. Queen can't go here because of my knight. Can't go there because of the pawn. Can't go there because of the pawn. And can't go there because queen takes. All right. So he thinks for a few minutes. Don't know why, because this was forced. I snatch the rook. He grabs back. Again with his queen. Like leaving these two horses just chewing in the field. Okay. And now actually black is better in this position. Right, so what do we do? I play queen a7. And I've got a couple of ideas here because I saw I've got queen a1, check, with a fork on this knight. I also have queen takes e3, check, forking the king and both knights, in fact. Kieran now plays knight into here, defending this pawn. But here's the thing, right? At this point in the game, like here, I noticed something about my opponent. I said this to him after the game, right? When we got to like here, right? He was only looking in this sector of the board, right? He was only looking here. I didn't even see him look back at his own first three ranks, okay? So we have this. He loses the exchange. I bring my queen out. He sees one of the threats, but he misses the other one. Now here, actually, I should have played queen a1 check straight away and won the knight. But then I see I'm losing this knight. So I played knight d6 first. He brings his queen over, and now I strike with my queen. With check. And I think this was a surprise. I just don't think he saw that move. Because he was trying to win, but forgot not to lose, you know. Okay, so here, king moves away. I grab the knight. We have knight takes knight. I don't think that's best, but it's really not great anyway. We trade queens. This is important. I trade queens first, and then I win the knight back. He plays the best... Oops. Okay, he plays the best move now, which is pawn to c6. And here I'm thinking this has to be winning, right? I've got a rook. I'm a pawn down, but I've got a rook. And then the question is how? So I'll show you how it goes. I start to mobilize my king. Like, it might have been tempting just to block this pawn off, but it isn't necessary because my rook can go there anytime the pawn moves. So I don't have to do this. Let's get the king round. Okay, we have g4, round comes the king. I push up g5 here. Again, not the best move, didn't need to do that. He pushes h4 and h6. So I'm pretty confident now that this area of the board is you shall not pass, right? Whatever he does, if he takes here, I take back, and the king cannot ever step on these squares. So the king can't get round. My king is going to head round this way. Okay. So he actually blocks it off. Round comes the king. Round comes the king. Now I drop my rook down because my king's blocking the pawn. I swing my rook around. Check. And I stick my rook here. Now here there's a couple of moves where we were both kind of flustered and didn't write them down properly, so we couldn't even check each other's sheets. Okay, but so I know what my idea here is, right? My rook has to stay on the c file. So if this pawn ever goes there or even goes there, I can just snatch it. Right? The rook has to be protected, and my idea is I'm going to get round. Now, this king, it can actually, from here and here, it can just dither backwards and forwards, right? Around these squares, and actually protect these pawns. And I'm thinking, well, I can't push this pawn. He can't push any pawns, really, unless I allow him to push c. So how do you win this position? And I'm thinking, okay, I think I know how. I think what I need to do is I need to get my rook and my king looking at one of these pawns, probably e3. But what I probably mustn't do is put my king in the way of the pawn and allow him to do that. But I think we'd still be all right even if I did that. Okay, so we shuffle around. My rook's now looking at the e3 pawn. Up comes the king. He attacks. I defend the rook. He moves away. Round comes my king. Round comes my king, taking opposition each time. I'm 2 squares away. Opposition again. Here I grab the pawn with the rook. Could have taken with the king as well. And here actually it is mate in 7. I could have really just done a king and rook mate on the H file. But I grab the pawn. I just want to make absolutely sure I don't lose. Okay, get back on the C file. King takes here, and here white resigns. He admitted he could have resigned several moves before, but wow. Wowzers. What a game. Horrible game. But, you know, quite satisfying. So I've put the PGN into chess.com analysis. 74.4 for white. 79.8 for me. No blunders. I had 1 miss. I had 4 mistakes. He had 6. What's the guess that ELO? Probably around our ratings. That's a bit unkind. 1350 for him. My opening sucked, but I actually played 1650 towards the end, so more accuracy towards the end. Let's have a quick look at best move diff. Yeah, so the opening wasn't trousers. Ooh, quite a lot of buggering about in the middle game, and in fact the end game was pretty fine. So it was really a game of kind of three sections. The opening wasn't terrible. We've got 1 mistake here. In the middle, neither of us really excelled, and we were both as pretty as tight as we could be. So, okay, let's get rid of that, and we'll go through and see what should have been done. Okay, so let me flip the board. Okay, so this is all bookity book, and that's actually a mistake already. Already a mistake. But I figured like this position wasn't the end of the world, but apparently it is. But I mean, look, I don't play d4, d5 games. This is not my thing. This is not my style. So I need to find something else I can do. Okay. So here, this is best. That's fine. Coming back, not even the best move. Yeah, I thought about this, bringing the knight back round here, and then maybe you've got ideas of, you know, get the bishop out and long castle. That could have been a plan. But I didn't do that. I came back here, and then I'm just staring into this massive centre. I like this e6. I'm happy about. That's okay. That's okay. Better, I think, is a6. Yeah, a6 slightly better to put the question to the bishop. Castles, and this is again is a mistake from me, and it's +3. +3 for white. Too slow, which I kind of felt. Best. This is okay. It says it's okay. Probably a6 again. No, it says just castle, Hunty. Get your king safe. But I was kind of concerned about this very standard idea, this queen bishop battery, just peeling me open. So we don't do that. I play the weird queen e7. Now I kick the bish. Kick it again. Didn't need to do that. Did not to do that. It says I should have just castled. Retreats. e5 it doesn't like. It still says I should have castled here. Right? But then this is a mistake from white. It's gone from +3.6 to +1. Didn't like that move, but it's okay because I had a plan. Okay, and this is now fine. This is okay but slow. Knight here is okay. Probably still wants me to castle. Of course it does, yes. Yeah, fish loves me castling. It doesn't like this move, but that move caused me a bunch of headaches. Okay, now I castle and it says, oh, it's all right. A4 is okay. Trade E. This is okay. It didn't like that either. Didn't like that. What should I have done here? Rook FB8. Yeah, I think, yes. Well, Stockfish is seeing danger on the A and B files. And I did not see it. I was too slow. That's my problem there. Okay, but so we take, and now this knight move it hates. Bishop takes. Should have got my knight out. It says put your knight back there where it belongs. Okay, anyway. And yeah, queen d8 is fine, but okay. It's saying you should have taken an outpost of the bishop, and that would have been possibly unpleasant, but okay. It's still +2, so white is distinctly better. Okay, the rooks are coordinated and powerfully doubled. Yes, this is all right. Trading off. Says he didn't need to trade even. Well, what's a better move than that? Queen takes, I guess. Yeah, queen takes is best. Okay, he takes with the rook. And that's not best. Should have traded off queens. Wow. That's pretty much guaranteeing a loss though, isn't it? Being a pawn down. And this, yeah, like, this I think is one of the areas where he let himself down in this game, is leaving, undeveloping this knight. I mean, this knight was always a pain there, actually, looking at this pawn for a lot of the game. But here, excellent move. And that's a mistake. Goes from 3.6 to 1.2. And this is best for me. Okay. Queen back there. This is not bad. It says push. But I didn't really want to repair these for him. I think, just sod it, leave them there. But I suppose if he takes, what does it want me to do? Take back with a rook? No, not even at all. Get the queen in. Get the queen in was the idea. Yeah, because this pawn was in the bishop's way a lot of the time. Now it's in the queen's way. And so I do this, messing about with the king, just kind of buying time. Best move. Should probably put it there in the first place. And that was not the best either. But here's the problem. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. All he needed to do was this. Keep the pressure up, keep moving forwards. He'd done a great job of bringing his pieces forwards on the whole. And now his knights have kind of slunk back in like defensive positions, but they're not really well matched there, And this was just a mistake. For the first time in the game, really, black is slightly better. Best move, found it quickly. This is pretty much forced. That's excellent. Didn't even need to. Apparently queen here, targeting this pawn with check already, but I hadn't seen it. I mean, I confess I was only looking at the stuff, like thinking, come on, material. Should have taken with the knight. I thought he'd take with the knight, actually. And again, he missed an opportunity to bring these pieces forwards. So, and now he comes forwards, but yeah, it says I should have gone straight in for queen a1, but and the rest we know. So the rest is history. But wow, interesting game. I mean, it was not comfortable, and it was just two rushed mistakes together from my opponent that turned it all. And I honestly felt, and I'm sure you feel the same. Yeah, I was outplayed for the majority of that. I got into a situation that I hated. Yeah, I was second best for most of that game. There's no question about it. Let's go back to the review and look at this again. So yeah, he was just grinding away. What were his mistakes? This one, and it's a hard one to explain this. So what should he have done in this position? Opened it up. Opened it up. And he's plus 3.6. And here he's plus 1. The computer wanted me to go to, A5. And maybe take this. I mean, it's not an outpost, is it? But it was more active. But here I was happy to do that, quite honestly. And then again he builds up an advantage and he gets to this point. And now he brings his knight backwards. right? Whereas he should have pushed forwards. +5. Basically winning, right? But here he just... It's, I don't know, it's... What can we say? It's not. It's a wishy-washy move. He's bringing his knight backwards, he's moving it away from where the action is, because the action's round here, right? It's all this corner here, right? And my king's over here. So what the hell's the knight doing going in that direction? Maybe he had a plan. Maybe he wanted to bring his knight in here and try and trade off and simplify. It makes sense. And then this was just, this was one of those quick moves that, because he thought so carefully, he was taking 4 or 5 minutes over most of his moves for most of the game. And I admit, I'm not proud of it, but I was trying to use the clock, and I was trying to say to myself, I'm playing this like a 10-minute rapid, because there's something like, my last game that I played where it gave me like 900 or 950 rating, I was overthinking, and I do that a lot. And I kept, actually even during the game, there's a scene in the Queen's Gambit when Beth and what's her mum's name? Can't remember now. Must watch it again. They're in, I think, Mexico City, just before her mum's death. Spoiler alert. And her mum says to her, "You're what they call an intuitive player, right?" I noticed the moves that they applaud the most are the ones you play quickly. And that kind of thinking, it's not what you're meant to do in a 75-minute classical game. But I was just feeling like I knew I was worse, right? At this point, I'm in a losing position. Here, I'm in a losing position. So what I've got to do something, right? And I've got my own little Gotham sitting there going, what's he going to do? He's got to find some counterplay or something. Unfortunately, my opponent gives me this. And then, he does this thing which I know so well. And I said to him at the end, I've done it a million times. Yes, it's forgetting not to lose, remembering not to lose. Don't focus so hard on winning that you forget not to lose. Okay? And then that wasn't even the best, but at this point now I'm better literally for the first time. Right? So here white is still better. Here it's now black. Right? He sees the pin, he thinks that solved my issues, and I'm thinking, I see a tactic, bang, go for it. Right? This isn't making me a better chess player doing this, but at least in a sense you could argue that I'm playing to my strengths. And from then on, not the best. I should have grabbed the tactic straight away. I was just worried about this. So okay, let's play this one through, because I didn't do that. Okay. We'll play the best moves for white. So he goes here, protecting that knight. Okay. And now what do I do? Alright, hang on. No, because it just drops the knight. So that's not very human. Let's say he goes here, right? Very typical. Queen takes c3. Queen takes knight. Oh, but then I get the other knight. Of course. Duh. So I didn't have to worry about that at all. I'm threatening both knights. It's a continuity capture. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. But there you go. Pleased to get a win. Right, that's now 2 wins in a row. Not particularly proud of the manner in which I did it, but I'll take it all the same, and that's enough for me. I'm chessed out. Right, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you next time.